Hey, everybody. Thank you for joining us and welcome to the Founders in LA podcast. I'm your host, Ethan Cole, and this is an opportunity to shine the spotlight through a product lens on some of the exceptional startup founders we have as part of the LA community in an unedited, one take organic conversation. With us today is Joe Rappaport and Alan Song. Thanks for coming down to the studio, guys.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Great to see you guys. It's excited to learn more about Kenko, but first, a word from our sponsors. Founders in LA is brought to you by United Club. United Club is a co-working space that sets itself apart. With locations in El Segundo, Manhattan Beach, and Hermosa, United is where creativity flourishes. Unlike traditional offices, they provide an inspiring environment where ideas can thrive and businesses can grow. With United, there's no hidden fees, flexible terms, options for dedicated offices, and unlimited access to conference rooms, a photo studio, this podcast studio, plus standard 3D printers and 24/7 access to any of their locations. They're local champions who support neighborhood businesses, open their event spaces to nonprofits, and celebrate art, music, and culture. Join United Club and experience co-working like never before. Learn more at www.united.club. That's www.unita.club. We're also brought to you by the Product Managers Association Los Angeles, available at pma.la. They're the largest professional organization for product designers in Los Angeles. With more than 4,000 members from over 500 companies, they host monthly meetups, organize the Product Leader Council, have a mentorship program where they connect working product managers with students from underrepresented groups to build a better and more diverse next gen, and are hosting an AI conference called LA Tech Connect on November 9th, where they're going to review how AI is being integrated into the workflows for product design, engineering, and marketing. Learn more at pma.la. That's pma.la. Our guests today are Joe Rappaport and Alan Song. They are co-founders of Kenko. And can you just give us a 30-second description of Kenko?
Absolutely. So Kenko is a mobile platform that empowers physical therapists to improve the patient's outcome. And the way that we do this is really focusing in on the home exercise programs. So typically, physical therapists will prescribe home exercise programs through a piece of paper. But what we've done is we've created a mobile app that has helped physical therapists manage all of their patients on a unified platform, instantly prescribe home exercise programs that is catered to the patient's needs and requirements and how they like to learn and follow. And then we give them the ability to stay connected with their patients and, most importantly, track the patient's progress. And on the patient side, we're creating a tool that is engaging and helps them stay focused and motivated to continue on their recovery journey in and out of their sessions.
Wow, that's kind of incredible on a couple of the product levels here. And one, having been an unfortunate user of physical therapy, I've had a couple of back injuries in the past that required me to go to it. It kind of killed me that my physical therapist was very strong and she was gifted, but she would draw like these stick figures that would, like, for each of the stretches I was supposed to do. And I would lose the paper sometimes and she'd have to draw it all over again. And just thinking about that scale of, she's not just doing that for me, she's doing that for every patient. And then to you guys' point, this it's not just about the therapy in the office, right? It's not the therapy you're doing at home. And how can you stay connected? How can you make sure as the patient that you're doing the right thing? I feel like that was a concern that kept coming in through my head as I was trying to do these things at home, trying to keep up with what the stick figure looked like it was doing. So that's fantastic.
Yeah, exactly. I think, when we think of physical therapy, we often think of just being in the sessions, but recovery is a long and tedious process.
Right.
And unfortunately, Alan and I, we know this all too well. But a huge portion of the work that needs to be done for physical therapy, for rehabilitation as a whole, is outside of those sessions and is every day and within a practice that patients need to instill. But it's difficult for them to try to stay motivated and try to feel confident in performing those exercises by themselves. So our platform helps them because they can stay connected with their physical therapist, and then they can see their own progression, so that on a day that's really tough and they either don't feel like doing their exercises or they've just done them and they're frustrated because they feel like that they haven't felt any progress, they can look back on our app and see where they started and where they've progressed so that they can know that they're among in the middle of the recovery journey
Mm.
and they're actually making progress to move forward and hopefully get back to a life pain-free.
Yeah, it also feels like from the patient perspective, it's a long road to recovery and often frustrating. The folks who more often than not are in physical therapy are active people who like doing the thing that probably injured them, and
Mhm.
so having to know that there's a road to recovery, knowing that you're getting closer to it, even if it doesn't feel like it at the moment. And I imagine, a sense of, community, that it's not just you going through it. And this idea of analytics is kind of interesting. I imagine it's not just the patients, but maybe insurance companies might be interested in the progress that you're making through the physical therapy they're paying for. I can see from a product lens, from the business side, this feels like it's a nice fit, not only for the solution you're providing to the patients, but also for some B2B angles as well. So that's pretty neat.
Yeah, definitely. That's something that's on our roadmap. But for right now, we're primarily focusing on the outpatient clinics, which are traditionally the family-owned, cash-based,
Oh, nice.
more kind of more invested in providing quality care over how many patients they're seeing. And then we're going to start there and then try to branch out into some of the more larger enterprise organizations and then eventually to like insurance and stuff.
Yeah, no, you're building your base, building the strength and core product, and then the sky's the limit. There's
Mhm.
definitely ways to take this. It can take you from the small place to the big place. That's exciting. That's part of the excitement of building something like this.
Mhm.
How did you guys find yourself in these shoes to dedicate your lives to making
Oh
physical therapy
man.
more effective
Yeah.
and efficient?
So I am a veteran. I sustained injuries during my time in active duty, and Joe, as a former CrossFit athlete, we both like to say we're accidental founders. Well, we met each other at grad school at USC, and it's actually pretty funny. We had these long summer classes where we had to be in lecture for 8 or more hours a day.
Right.
So in between breaks, we'd find each other stretching, doing all kinds of weird stretches, and I was like, "Oh, are you injured?" He's like, "Yeah, I'm injured too." And that's when we, started to come up with an idea to help other people find a way to recover faster and live pain free.
That's amazing. So bonding over stretching
Yeah.
outside of class.
Yep, exactly. It's it was quite funny how that like whole scenario ended up kind of turning into kind of like where we are today. The great thing about our grad program at USC is we really took advantage of our classes, our professors, any pitch competition that came forth, and it not only helped Alan and I kind of validate our ability to work together, but it also helped us in a secure environment really validate if our idea is going to be feasible and if there's even potential ways of getting funding for it. And we ended up winning some prize money our first year in at USC, and then from there we continued to work on the platform part time, and eventually we said, you know what, now's the time to do it. We have one more year at USC. The we can mitigate the risks for right now. Let's go after it and let's see where we can go. And after our last year at USC, we were fortunate enough to be able to get into the Long Beach Accelerator program and get our first initial funding. And we're now doing it full time and excited to see kind of like where this idea from almost a year and a half ago started and now is actually kind of like full-fledged going. And we're about to launch our beta, and we're super thrilled to kind of see where we've come so far from.
That's fantastic. And that's a big leap to get into, to go from idea and just kind of like casual conversations outside of class to actually getting enough pull and signal to actually go for it. Uh, how are you finding your first customers? How are you finding folks who you'd want to, who you can, who will help you, use this platform as the first takers?
Yeah, our first beta customers actually came because USC has one of the best PT schools in the nation. And
That's
so
right.
we leveraged our community and the network there and basically reached out to physical therapy clinics saying, hey, initially we were grad students, we were working on a project. We'd love to get your feedback and just conduct customer discovery. And then as we were having the conversations with them, learning about their pain points and recognizing and validating our, hypothesis, at the down the line, we would reach back out to them and be like, hey, after talking to you, here's what we're building. We would love for you to be a part of it and test it out for us, as well as be a customer down the road. And we're building this ultimately from our conversations with you. And, we want to ensure that as we launch this, we continue to get your feedback and knowledge and insights, because we want this to be the product that helps you be able to alleviate pain for every single patient that comes into your door.
Wow. And what's the response been like from their side?
Sign me up.
Yeah, it's been great. We also have an amazing PT advisor, Shri. Shout out to Shri. She is actually a very strong advocate of our product, and spreading it to her circles of PT friends and colleagues. And from there, we've just been getting referrals and going. That's how we've essentially brought on a lot of the customers and got all of our LOIs signed.
That's phenomenal. So it kind of started with tapping available networks.
Mm-hmm.
And for you guys, you're saying, hey, we're USC grads. USC has a really strong program. Let's tap that alumni network. And it went to work for you guys. So that's awesome. Congratulations. And yeah, excited for the beta launch and to hear what folks are saying about it. And maybe we can have you guys on in a couple of months and we can do a check-in.
Definitely.
That'd be phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
And grounding this in LA, which it does sound like it's a very LA company coming out of USC. What's the most LA thing that's happened to you guys? It could be tech related or not.
Oh, man. Well, for me, it's not tech related, but pretty much every time my girlfriend and we go out on a run, and we live in Santa Monica, we end up running into Arnold Schwarzenegger riding his e-bike, whether it's like Venice or all the way north in like North Santa Monica. I end up seeing him riding his bike and like nudging my girlfriend, being like, hey, it's Arnold again. And every time she ends up missing him. So she thinks that I'm making it up, but I kid you not. It's literally every time we go out for a run.
Arnold always out there.
And for me, it's been very fortunate that, LA is pretty an active community. So speaking to a lot of people, it's just a very relatable problem that people could, relate to. And they always kind of understand where we're coming from. So it's a little bit easier of a sell to talk to patients, to physical therapists, because they understand our pain points.
Oh, yeah. And for LA, it's being such an active place. What I love, it's sometimes frustrating that there's people out at all times. Like you can go out at like Tuesday at 11 a.m. and there's just like people everywhere just doing kind of recreational sports. You're like, gosh, doesn't anyone in this town work? That's a very LA thing as well. Well, thank you so much again for coming down to the studios, guys. We have Joe Rappaport and Alan Song. They are the co-founders of Kenko. We'd like to thank our sponsors, PMALA and Unida. I'd like to thank you all for listening to us. And if you like what we hear, please smash that subscribe button. Thanks for joining us, and we'll catch you next time on Founders in LA.